Shaquille O'Neal is preparing to buy out the entire Buss family and claim ownership of the Lakers. With Shaq in power, Luka Doncic takes full control of an unstoppable purple and gold empire, destined to bring home the next NBA title.
The best offensive players in Luka Doncic. They got enough offensive firepower to win games in a regular season. There's only 4 teams in the Western Conference that I feel like that are better than them on paper. The Nuggets, Spurs, OKC, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Outside of that, they're right in the middle of the pack. But here's the thing, Tim, you know this, the middle of the pack doesn't mean nothing to the Laker fan base. I don't give a damn if it was Jesus Christ owning the Lakers, it would still be the same standard, meaning that it's championship or bust. And so now you start this new era of the official era of Luka Doncic has officially started, and now he's on the clock because the Laker fan base, they're spoiled. You know, they're built on champions.
No, they didn't, actually, because the Buss family, of which there are 6, from my understanding, although they voted 5-1 in favor of selling the final 17.8% of the Los Angeles Lakers stake that they had, they announced that they sold it. Congratulations to us. We just sold this and to Bob Iger and Kushner. And Shams Charania was the one that kind of announced that this deal got done, because I think all parties thought that deal got done. Then Jeannie Buss, who was the one in the 5-1, okay, says, oh, that's cute, because you guys aren't even allowed to do that. Like, I'm the only one really that matters here. I am the governor. I am the controlling owner. We have more than 15%, so I can still run the team. That is the reason why we are here. And all your votes are void if I say no. That's what our dad said in the trust whenever he left us the Lakers.
No, I mean, you stated it all right. And so that's what we know right now. 5 of the 6 Buss siblings voted in favor of selling the remaining 17.8% remaining final shares with the Lakers, along with Mark Walter. So there's a tag-along provision that if Mark Walter ever sold, that they could then, as siblings, as part of their Buss family trust, have the majority votes to then sell along with Mark Walter. Obviously, I don't think anyone saw it coming that Mark Walter, less than 10 months after buying and officially transacting and closing on that sale of $10 billion last year, would then sell and flip for $12.5 billion. But they invoked the tag-along provision, so that's a sell of 17.8% at about $2.27 billion. And so they believe they have the majority votes to do so. 5 of the 6 Buss siblings voted to sell. Jeannie's legal team put out a letter, and her interpretation, her lawyer's interpretation, is that she is the final voice, she's the only voice, and she's clearly willing to bring her lawyers in. I mean, Jeannie Buss was the first female to ever lead a NBA team to a championship. The Buss name, the family, it's meant a lot to the NBA. There's no question. And so the siblings, the other 5 siblings and their lawyers believe that that's not how the trust works. The trust doesn't work that way, that there's only one sole person that ends up deciding, has veto powers, has say-so over everyone else's shares. And so what this is setting up to be is Josh Kushner, Bob Iger are coming in now as the majority owners. And now everyone around the NBA is waiting to see, how does this play out? How does this work? If now Jeannie Buss is making it very clear that she wants to stay as the governor, and how does this result with the siblings? First, it's a battle between them, and how this is shaping up is if the lawyer's coming out with a letter like they did last. That's basically what happened. And Pat, one key thing to also point out, so when Jeannie Buss struck that deal with Mark Walter, the siblings kind of had to fall in line. They went with it. There was a deal that she would be the governor for the next 5 years through 2030. So there's 4 more years left. Well, you know what happened in the ensuing months after that transaction took place? All of the other 5 siblings were terminated and fired from their role. And now, less than a year later, 5 votes against Jeannie Buss.
Hey, Buss family, good luck out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, this one's
messy.
Yeah, this one's going to be loud. $378,333,333 to each individual sibling would be what, 6 piece of the $2.27 billion. That is 17.8% of the $12.5 billion valuation.
The family revenge was only the opening spark. The real shocker arrived when a $12.5 billion corporate powerhouse moved in to crush what was left of her control.
Back to the original question, when Mark sold the team, Bob said in an interview with the California Post, Bob Iger said, "We intend to honor that agreement between Jeannie and Mark, which was in writing. But if something changes, then it changes." So we're back to this original question, which we all were wondering, which is, if somebody pays $12 billion, are they really going to let someone else run the team? Right? Mark made that deal because he had to make the deal in order to get Jeannie to sell. But now Mark's selling. So will that hold up in court? And Bob Iger was my boss for a lot of years. I think he's a really good executive, Hall of Fame, legendary executive, okay?
Indeed.
I feel like there was probably a graceful way to resolve this, and I assume he was already thinking through all of that. I really think he was done with the Lakers after that last game. I don't think there was anything they could have done differently, except for maybe give him an extension last year or give him a third year on the first extension he signed. He did a 1-and-1. I think he wanted 3 years. They weren't willing to do that because they wanted it to line up with Luka, or they wanted the salary cap flexibility that summer. I don't know if they had Luka yet. But I think that fate was sealed last August. I think that I really do. Now looking back on it, I think that was all done. He wasn't going to play for less with the Lakers because that's such an insult to play for so much less with this team. It's like when your boss asks you to take a pay cut, especially after the year he had, and he was so good. It's different. There's a sort of curse of the incumbency. I don't think he wanted to be the third banana. He just accepted that role. He wanted to be wanted. He wants to have a key role. This is Luka's team. They turned the page. It was done last year. And everybody made the best of it, and he was professional about it.
Make no mistake about it. The single most iconic franchise in global basketball history is currently teetering on the edge of a violent corporate earthquake. Behind closed doors in El Segundo, an unprecedented family bloodbath has erupted into public warfare, threatening to obliterate 4 decades of Dr. Jerry Buss's purple and gold dynasty in an avalanche of greed, betrayal, and revenge. Just 10 short months after billionaire Mark Walter acquired majority control in a monumental $10 billion transaction, the ground beneath Los Angeles shifted once again. When Walter prepared to flip the Lakers at a historic, record-shattering $12.5 billion valuation, 5 of the 6 Buss siblings detonated a financial nuclear bomb inside the boardroom. Invoking a controversial tag-along clause, Jim, Johnny, Janie, Joey, and Jesse Buss voted 5-1 to liquidate their final 17.8% equity stake. That single rebel vote represents an astronomical $2.27 billion in cold hard cash, a payout of $378,333,000 for each individual sibling. They wanted their money, they wanted their billions, and they wanted out immediately. But they made one catastrophic miscalculation. They forgot that Jeannie Buss had no intention of surrendering her father's sacred kingdom without a bloody fight. Jeannie immediately fired back with ruthless defiance, publicly declaring that all 5 votes were completely null, void, and legally unauthorized under family trust bylaws. The dark catalyst behind this mutiny is far more personal and humiliating than the public ever realized. When Jeannie originally negotiated the sale with Mark Walter, she secured an ironclad 5-year governing agreement through 2030, guaranteeing her absolute operational control. However, in the brutal aftermath of that deal, every single one of her 5 siblings was systematically terminated, stripped of their executive titles, and ousted from their jobs within the Lakers organization. Stripped of their prestige and locked out of franchise decisions, the siblings waited in the shadows for revenge. When Mark Walter flipped the team, they struck with surgical precision, attempting to force a cash buyout and leave Jeannie isolated. Jeannie is now wielding Dr. Jerry Buss's irrevocable family trust and a landmark 2017 court order, maintaining that she is the sole governing trustee for life and that no shares can be sold without her explicit signature. As this family bloodbath heads toward a multi-billion-dollar showdown in California probate court, media titan Bob Iger and venture capitalist Josh Kushner have stepped in with $12.5 billion to seize financial dominion. But everyone across the NBA understands the cold reality of Wall Street. When you write a $12 billion check, you do not let someone else steer your investment. That power vacuum is precisely where Shaquille O'Neal is preparing his historic checkmate. Shaq has officially launched efforts to assemble an elite private equity syndicate to buy out the disputed Buss family shares and take over as the commanding owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. O'Neal brings something that corporate suits can never buy: 4 championship rings, unmatched cultural respect across Los Angeles, and an uncompromising alpha mentality. Shaq knows that the Lakers cannot endure another decade of palace intrigue. The franchise needs a dominant, larger-than-life figurehead to shield the team from front office chaos and clear the runway for their new on-court savior. While the front office descends into madness, the hierarchy on the hardwood has completed a seismic revolution. LeBron James's departure to the Philadelphia 76ers was the inevitable end of an era. The keys to the kingdom now belong exclusively and unconditionally to Luka Doncic. Luka has already seized total psychological command of the roster, personally chartering a private aircraft to fly 14 teammates to his hometown in Slovenia for an exclusive preseason training retreat at Lake Bled. To solidify Luka's championship blueprint, the front office surrendered 2 future first-round draft picks to acquire elite defensive anchor Walker Kessler. The NBA has thrust the Lakers directly onto the world stage with 34 national television broadcasts. But as Kendrick Perkins fiercely proclaimed, it does not matter if Bob Iger, the Buss family, or Jesus Christ owns the Lakers. The unyielding standard in Los Angeles will forever be championship or bust. With Shaquille O'Neal positioning himself to seize ownership, silence the family circus, and bankroll a new dynasty, will Shaq's takeover power Luka Doncic to deliver banner number 18 to Los Angeles? Or will a $12 billion civil war drag this iconic franchise into ruin? Thank you for watching Sport Current. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video to support the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss the latest NFL and WNBA news, breaking stories, game updates, trades, and the biggest moments in American sports. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll see you in the next video, right here on Sport Current.